This is my long-term review for the Brompton folding bicycle. I've been using this every day for about a year, so here are my thoughts. So here she is. This is the M6L version. This has 6 gears. So I'll talk about each of the components and give my overall review of the components. And then following on from that, I will give a rundown of how I've actually found the bike to live with over the past year. So of course, I'll certainly try and be objective, and I'll point out the bad things as well as the good things about this bike. So let's get started. A correction from the previous video, the mudguards are actually made of plastic, not aluminium, but nevertheless they've been really rigid and they haven't been a problem at all. Moving up here, we've got the caliper brakes. They have been great, very responsive, and stops the bike effectively even in wet weather, so no complaints there at all from me. Just looking at the small mudguards there, they do a great job of stopping the spray going up your back. And I did have a small problem with the hubs at the beginning. The tension was wrong, so the gears kept slipping in wet weather. But I've taken these back to the shop since and not had a problem from there. Moving forward, we've got the pedals here. The pedal on the left-hand side, the other side, folds up. And because of that, you do get less foot space or surface area for your foot to go on. So my foot has slipped off a couple of times. Not a big problem, but it has happened. They're just some porting wheels there. The stem is long. I'm just under 6 foot. I was worried about flex in the stem, but it hasn't been a problem at all. I found the seat to be excellent, very comfortable. Didn't replace it with my Brooks saddle at all, and it's shaped so that you can pick it up easily. And going on here again, I was a bit worried when I bought this bike about flex. It's only got a single horizontal pole to act as support, but again, there has been no flex even if you accelerate hard. So here's the hinge that breaks the bike into thirds. Haven't had a problem with it, very secure with the twist mechanism. Some modern Brompton bikes have a lever, but this has worked out fine for me. The mounting bracket has been a godsend. I use it with a Brompton tea bag, and it's been great, very secure, and it's attached directly to the frame so it doesn't affect your steering, which is excellent. The Schwalbe wheels that are supplied with the bike have been great, and they handle all different types of terrain really well. Going up the stem, there is a bit of a problem with flex in the stem. It's the only part of the bike that if you accelerate hard, it really does flex. Takes a little bit of getting used to. There was a locking nut just there. If you have lights on your handlebars, point them up before folding, otherwise you'll crack them when the bike folds. The bell is fine. Took a bit of getting used to the position. The handle grips, although have no padding, so you might want to change them, and I understand people that do want to change them for longer journeys. The brake handles are metal, very responsive again, and the gear levers around the back, you can't see them, are also very good. So overall, the bike components are excellent. The only problems I have had are with the gear changing at the beginning. That was a tension problem. And the stem is a bit flexible compared to other bikes you may have ridden. Something about the gearing as well. I mentioned that a bit later in the video. Some people might find the gearing takes some getting used to, but overall the components are quality. Even the mudguard at the front there, even in very wet weather, it's protected me against the rain. So you can tell it's been thought through carefully, and that's your overriding feeling about this bike. Everything's been thought through. So I think overall they've used decent quality components for this bike. It's not, of course, super cheap, it's quite expensive, but you do get the feeling that this bike, if you look after it, will last a lifetime. So just while it's folded up here, a few more thoughts on this bike. One of the big advantages is that it does fold into thirds, not halves, like a lot of folding bikes. And because of this, the footprint is really small. I have never been barred from entering a low, mid or high range restaurant or going on public transport. And for that, it's fantastic. So you can take it anywhere with you. So it really can fit seamlessly into your lifestyle, and above and beyond all that, it really is a piece of engineering beauty. And it's so small, I just keep it in the hallway so I can unfold it easily as I'm walking out the door. So now what most people might want to know is, how does it actually ride and how does it fit into that lifestyle? So here's some gratuitous bike folding that comes with every Brompton video. So you can see it doesn't take long at all. I've done this a few times, takes about 20 seconds, and I've been using this bike every day for pretty much a year now. So most of you want to know how this actually rides. Well, you can see with the small wheels and narrow handlebars, it can be twitchy, but it also means it's very responsive, so you can turn on very tight corners. With the Schwalbe wheels that are supplied, you can go over some really tough terrain as well. The Brompton's got no right to go over this type of terrain, yet it handles it surprisingly well. This is just mud and grass. When you do get onto smooth roads, it's really got a turn of speed. The acceleration is excellent and it's very responsive. What you might notice is that it's probably at cruising speed a couple of miles an hour slower than your regular bike, so just take this into account when you're commuting. But in most people's daily commute, you won't notice. I cycle up to 5 miles a day, and I think anything beyond that you might want to consider a normal bike, but for up to that distance, it's fantastic. So again, I've just put on a bit of a turn of speed here just to show you how you can accelerate quickly. This is going slightly downhill. Sorry about the camera angle, I should have looked up a bit more. But again, for a bike this size, it's actually got quite a long wheelbase, so it feels stable. Just coming onto a gravel track here, and again, it feels really good with these Schwalbe tyres that come with the bike. So that performance is really in spite of the small wheel size, 16-inch, and also the upright riding position. So pretty impressive overall. It's not as slow as you might think it would be. So yet another unfolding and folding demo. You can't get enough of these with the Brompton, can you? But just to say, if I take this bike on public transport on my commute, I might have to do this 4 or 5 times, and it really is no trouble. It takes about, 20 seconds to do this. It's really convenient and easy. And here's a final folding up video. So overall I would say is this bike has fitted seamlessly into my life, and as long as you use it within what it was designed for, that's as a commuter in the city, it is superb. And more than that, and more than any other bike I've known, it actually gets under your skin, and before you know it, you couldn't imagine life without it. So would I actually recommend a Brompton? If you commute in the city and you want to get around in the city, I would wholeheartedly recommend this as a folding bike of your choice. And that's because I've never been refused on public transport, never been refused of going into any shops or restaurants. It's with you all the time. And because of that, it becomes part of you and it becomes part of your lifestyle. For me, the small compromise in performance is very worth it. So overall, I would give this bike an A+. It's fantastic. So once again, thanks for watching and watch out for the next BikEnomic video.